how's it going, everybody? Gabriel, Santiago. So this is the episode 14 of the Speaking of Harmony podcast. Thank you so much for the feedback, guys. Have been amazing. Keep them coming. Keep the comments on. It's been great. Great be interacting with you guys and talking music and talking harmony. So today we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell thing, the notification. This is all my social media stuff. It will help a lot if you hit the like in the button. It really help me a lot with the videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my mailing list. I keep stressing that. Don't forget to subscribe to the mailing list. It's going to be great to have you guys over there. All right. I think I was playing. It's just something it was stuck in my head the other day as I was practicing some stuff, and that's a great thing to talk about. So that will be basically, we're talking about non-harmonic tones and how you can integrate that with inversions. You know, I've been talking about inversions a lot, and inversions are very important too. Are a great way to kind of shortcut between a chord and another one. So let's say I was using A major. I was doing A major as an example. So when you have a situation like, we have going to A, right? E major to A. You can do it just helps a lot with the hashtag voice leading. It's gonna be a lot of voice leading happening today. I was just kind of like coming up with stuff to combine that with non-harmonic tones in a great way to like create all this beautiful harmonic path, and at the same time very melodic with voices moving and all that stuff, right? So if you take, for instance, a passing tone, which is a non-harmonic tone, right? A non-harmonic tone is a note that doesn't belong to the chord. In this case, a passing tone, the name says, it's just passing through a note from the chord to another one, right? So, right, the passing tone will be A, right? And then create this little melody. It's part of the chord, right? So I can do. So I can just kind of like go the cycle fifth, just an exercise, so you can just practice if you guys want some like passing tone stuff. Like start from the third, so you go. Into E, right? So I come from E to E. Right, there's different ways you can do in the fingerboard. You can practice and find a good way for it to do, but just a matter of example. You can create, it helps you to kind of like just come up with some melodic material. It's very valuable when you're harmonizing stuff and just not stuck into sort of the vertical thing I keep telling about. The things in lines. It's just great for that, it's a great exercise. So you can do that in the cycle fits and stuff, right? So another non-harmonic that I use all the time is the appoggiatura, which I have been featuring already in a couple episodes of the podcast, right? So it's a note that doesn't belong to the chord, that is attacked on the downbeat and resolved back into a note from the chord, right? So in this case, I will use, let's say, F sharp. So, right? See? Right? So I can use, right? Right? I'm using the appoggiatura a lot. Right? So what you can do with that is also like not resolve the appoggiatura later and just kind of come up with this extended chord, which is pretty much in this case an added ninth chord, right? So you're really not up like resolving the appoggiatura. So you do right? So instead of doing this and resolving, I just keep that. Meaning I keep the appoggiatura and extend it and resolve it, but still keep the one ringing. So I have, as a result, I have this added 9 chord with the first inversion in this case, right? Right? If I don't resolve it here, I can just leave it here, right? It's a non-resolved dissonance, right? So that becomes part of the chord, and that has a lot to do with the scores that I use that I love. There's a bunch of them that they're just kind of a result of this unresolved stuff, right? So if you take the example I'll just give you, you can do things like, for instance, non-resolving. So you do, you see, you kind of create that added 9 sound with the first inversion. So instead of doing, you can resolve if you want. Right? You see what I'm talking about? Or you can just leave it unresolved. Then you have like a fuller chord and an interesting color. So see? See? And back into E. So that's a cool way to implement this non-harmonic tone stuff on your harmonization, right? And you saw that I coupled that with inversion, right? First inversion, then I went to A, first inversion, and I just kept going, right, cycle fifth, right? So it's a combination of both the non-harmonic tone and the inversion, right? Because I can do inversions like, you know, I can just do first inversion, so I can just go cycle fifth, for instance, an exercise, right? So a great exercise, and you start seeing these cool voices. So you can, you know, implement the appoggiatura, unresolved appoggiatura, like, right? The fixed one, right? So you do. Seven stringers, the 6 string guys, can do it here, right? So that's a cool way to just kind of navigate and use the inversions to get to A, for instance, from get to E to A, and then A to D, and vice versa. I can use an inversion in the middle just to kind of move things a little bit, to apply some kind of movement, right? You know the word already that relates to that, right? At E. So that's a cool way to do it, right? What we can do now, it's combine everything. So I can also do on a different version, for instance, right? I can do, instead of doing the first inversion, I can do the second inversion, right? All inversions. So I can do, so I'll take this chord and then the second inversion, right? With the fifth and the bass. So it'll be what was the melody I was doing early? Try to remember the melody I came up with, which is really cool. I think it was that. I think it was using also the seventh in the chord. So you invert on the fifth, and you have major seven in the chord. I think that's what I was doing. Like that I was doing, but you can use different versions. In this case I used the first one, but I can use the second as well. So then you can combine that and just kind of put it all together, and I came up with like a longer exercise, like a larger one. So you can do, that's the thing I remember. So we have first inversion, second inversion, and you have the added ninth chord that result of the unresolved appoggiatura, right? And we have passing tones, right? So we have, or I have it on A, right? And here we do the second inversion with the fifth and on the bass, of course, and then the major seven will be in the top, right? Inversion. Then do the first inversion of that chord with the unresolved appoggiatura. So you have this progression, right? You see there's already a melody going on, right? So we do that in A now. So you do, right? Then you do that in D. Where am I? I have to go octave down because it's super low. So in D would be. See? The second inversion with the major seven. So then keep going in G. C. Over here, like. Then F. B flat. Then we're back in tree. Isn't that cool? So I create this kind of exercise. You guys can go through all the keys, right? But it's just to show a little bit of how you integrate non-harmonic tones, in this case passing tones, right? Right? And appoggiaturas, right? In this case, unresolved, so it stays in the chord. Both chords over here. And then I use the second inversion too. So you start creating this melody, even though I'm just kind of playing chords, but you see I'm always playing them with voice leading, right? I'm like inverting the chords and creating this melody and thus creating movement, which is the whole idea here, right? So from that you can play all kinds of stuff. This was I was playing actually over in the beginning I was playing over autumn leaves, like right? So I was doing just by applying this principle, inverting the chords, right? Passing tone here. I even use a passing chord, like the appoggiatura chord. I did a passing chord, which was a diminished. See, invert the chord. E7 with the third in the bass. Here. Inverted Z, G, D rather, right? See, invert the G. Invert C major 7. And then invert the chord, see? See? You start creating all this beautiful movement just by using inversions and some non-harmonic tones, right? We kind of heading into the... That's something that I use all the time, right? Not only the voices... In this case, it gets a little chord heavier because I'm like applying these inversions all the time. So you have, instances of the chord, but that's just a great way to create movement. And when you're you have a chord that's just static, you can apply all that stuff to create movement. Again, just something else to create movement as well. So I hope you dig this episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Activate the little bell thing, notifications. So all my social media stuff, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the mailing list. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.